Hello everyone, and welcome to today's live stream where I'm going to be working on this folding house thing. My main thing for today is making it so that it's made out of bricks instead of post-it notes, which shouldn't take too long, but let's go over the general idea of how this works. So with this, I tried to set it up in a procedural fashion, but I could have made it a little bit better. So basically, to start off, we have a house model right here, which has a few subdivisions on it, very, very complicated, very, very detailed. But it just has a vertex group on the bottom here, that's where the folding will start. And then I have my folding faces set up run, where we reference the object just so that since multiple objects are referencing the house, I have it so that we can reference that object and then roll the faces based off that, just to keep it separated, isolated, and all that good stuff. And then I just run this on here, which is the rolling faces thing, which if you haven't seen that, this is the newer version, which is compatible with matrices, which makes it a whole lot simpler. Still not as simple as I would like, because a lot of the control stuff can get a little bit messy, but not the worst. We just stack up the matrices of the faces and all that fun stuff, which that's up on my Gumroad page if you want to go and take a look at it. That one's paid, not free, unfortunately. But yeah, that one's good. So the folded one does that, and then the instances, we reference the base mesh again, and I instance some post-its just like that, which works out very well. It does that. And then another object references the post-its and moves the instances based on the folding mesh, where we take the moving face matrice and compare it with the rest one, which, there was a version of this that used the scale, but I remember I chopped that out on purpose. But then you do that, multiply the instance transform by the new transform, and then all that works as intended. So we can see all those instances get deformed properly. Though I'm going to make it so that the scale actually gets considered. And then I'm going to try a few things. So with the folded part, I'm going to make it so that the scale is very close to 0. But there is a small caveat when it comes to that, which is that once the scale gets too small, float point precision errors happen very often. So there's a chance that some of the objects can freak out a little bit. Though it seems like their scale gets to be too small where you can't even notice, which is good. I'm happy about that. Yeah, these can scale and do all that, but I want it so that these are bricks and not, post-its. So how are we going to do that? I'm not going to just distribute points on faces like I did before. What I'm going to do is make an oscillating point grid and have the instances based off that, and then use the UV map to transfer the position and rotation of all those to their correct places. So that should work pretty well. Let's go and try that out. So I'm going to go and copy the instances part here. I know this can get a bit complicated, just because I set it up in more of a tree fashion, where the folded one and the instances are based off the base, and then the moving parts are based off of the folded and the instances. Totally not confusing. But yeah, let's go and make a point grid, where, maybe I could use, duplicate out. All right, let's go and get a mesh line, because that'll be fun. Or curved line or mesh line, which one? It doesn't really matter anyway. Let's go and get a curved line and then use a curve to points. Curved line, let's go and get that. So we want this to be from 0 to 1, and then I can duplicate elements and do all that. Okay. So this will be 2 points, curve to points, so that we can set the count in a very convenient fashion. Then we're going to duplicate the elements so that we can move them, and all this will work beautifully. So yeah, that'll be fine. And set position of our duplicate stuff. Combine X, Y, Z, though. Let's go and get an integer, because I want to make this fit between the scale that we want. So let's go and divide this and that. Put it right there. Yeah, that'll be fine. And then if we... yeah, there we go. Though I think, is that going to negative? Oh no, that is positive, okay. So with the duplicate index, I'm going to offset these by half of whatever this is. So we have that, and then we have this, okay. So how are we going to offset those without making a redundant point? Well, we're just going to use a very convenient wrap node. So wrap, let's go and do that. We want this to be 0 to 1. It still confuses me that the wrap node has the max and the min on the opposite sides that you would expect. Or, yeah, max is on top, min is on the bottom. Even though that makes sense, I think other nodes have it reversed. So I need to keep that in mind. Then here, we're going to do another wrap node, set this to be between 1 and -1. And then, or should it be 1 and 0? I keep forgetting. But we'll put this into the x-axis, so let's go and use a multiply based off that. Or I could just go and use, yeah, I could just do this directly. The wrap will handle it. Oh, right, because that's, we need to wrap the, after it's added to the position. Okay. I got it. So here we go. Let's go and add that to that, and then we put that into there. Make sure that actually sets the position. We can close that. So if we do this, now we can see we're offsetting it properly. So now we have that very nice pattern. So we can set this to be like 100 by 100, and then just offset this to be what, oh, that's, yeah, it's pretty much a hexagon pattern. But let's do 50 and 50. Plug that into there as well, or 25. And then we can bring this down until it looks mostly correct. Yeah, that seems to be mostly correct. Go, let's move this over to here. Okay. So let's go into instance on points. Actually, how should we do that in a correct way? Should we move the points to where the stuff is first, or instance first? That'll be interesting. I think we'll move the points into place and then assign the tangents afterwards, because I think that'll just be better. Okay, let's use a sample UV surface node right here. That's be a vector. But first, let me duplicate you. Yeah, that should be fine. And then delete all of this because we don't need any of you anymore. I want to keep the original one intact just in case. We won't need you anymore. So here we want to sample the position value, and then we'll use a UV map. Oh, let me check the audio levels because, okay, all that seems to be fine. Very nice. We'll need a UV map, or no, that'll be the sample UV, so it'll be that, that, and that. Okay. And then if we plug this into here, we should see that it does not work. Maybe it's because of the, there we go. We just had to reverse that a little bit. Well, that's good. Now we have the points on our house in that kind of staggered fashion. I probably will need to make it so that there's more vertically than horizontally. Wait, which one's vertical? Let's set this to be 25, and then this will be 50. Yeah, that seems to be a bit better. Now, when we instance on points, we can go and harvest the UV tangents, and then, yeah, all that'll work quite well. This is so that we don't have to assign it later. So let's go and press F because I forgot the hotkey for that. Let's do just a cube for starters, and we can see that this is slightly working, but not working the way we want. Wait a minute. Oh, that's why. Let's set the actual part there to be like that. Let's set that to be divided by 2. Oh my god, there are a lot of emojis being shown there. I'll read the chat in a second. Yeah, that seems to be okay for a brick, though maybe we need to divide it by 2 again. Divide by 2. Yeah, that seems to be good. Okay, hello to everyone in chat. You might have done this before, but is it possible to make a fluid sim solely in geonodes? In theory, yes. In practice, no. You don't want to do that. You just don't. It is just not worth it. Do not use geometry nodes for basically any kind of complex simulation. It is just not worth it. Wait, which... Oh, I had the wrong axis, okay. Like clot simulation, smoke, fire, and all that, while you can, in theory, do it with geometry nodes if you're motivated enough, just don't. Just don't. There's no official support for it. I cannot recommend it. Let's do sample nearest surface. Let's make this a vector. Now we're going to harvest the UV tangent, so let's go and use the UV tangent node, which is in my everyday pack, or my, wait, what was it again? My everyday material, or no, geometry node pack. I remember. Let's combine it into a transform. So we can harvest that, or could just harvest everything from there. Could. And hopefully there won't be weird interpolation issues. No, we'll just keep this right here. So let's do axes to rotation. Primary, no, it should be like this. So normal first, tangent second, and then, actually no, we can just use quaternion, call it a day. So if we do that and plug that into there, we should see that all these are now aligned to the grid. And all that works. But it seems as if there's still a few issues. Like these should be, whoa. Oh yeah, no, that you, is the, oh, that's probably why the file was a bit heavier than I expected. Because for some reason I forgot to clear the geometry in there. Which means, okay, good, no shape keys, all that's fine. We need to go to the base. Actually, let's make sure, yep, the post-it notes are still there. We need to go to the base. Let's go to the UV editing tab. Check. Yeah, why are some of those freaking out? Yeah, no, that's not right. It should be evaluated on the base corner, so why are those freaking out? Because they really shouldn't be. How about let's go and smart UV project with a bit of an island margin. That should not be happening like that. Okay, let's go and find the bug. So here we have the normal and all that. That should be both evaluate on domain. That should be the face corner. Yeah, so, what's the problem? Just make that the primary. Huh. I know, the base should be correct. And that's working. So maybe it's the normal that's freaking out. We just do that. Okay. So that seems to work. And then we can just flip you to be the Y and that one to be the Z? Wait, where are the axes on this? Okay, so that one's double. No, wait. Primary axis should be the tangent. Let me check that the tangent is actually coming out all right. Turn off attribute text because that's slow as hell. That one is Z. Oh wait, maybe I just need to it might actually just be accurate and I just need to rotate these. Yeah, let's make it so that X is the long axis so that we can plan for that. Yep, that's there, and then the bricks will face up otherwise. So let's go over to here on the original one. So let's go to the base, select this one right over here, L, and then we can just turn off this and then rotate it. So there we have that. Oh, and yeah, no, why is that happening? Just at some point freaks out when it's perfectly, oh, that might just be a float point precision error. That sucks. And then here, are some of these squashed? Oh, and I just need to make sure that all of these fit. Okay, let's go and pack islands, no rotation, no scale. Or, yeah, we can scale it. We can do that. And now that one needs rotation. Let's go and do this. So we need, which one? Not that one. Needs to be not that one either. Well, actually, yeah, we can rotate this one as well. Let's bring it over here. Then with you and you. Okay, rotate those as well. And, well, looks like we're rotating everything, where at this point, I might as well just... Actually, no, that's probably fine. Yeah, some float point precision issues where I did not expect them. That's less than ideal, but we're just going to deal with that. Then we'll go to the Geonodes tab once again, put the normal into there so that those parts of the bricks are aligned. Let's see. So have you made any more progress on the rigid bias system in Geonodes? None. And unfortunately, I think that's where it's going to stay for a while. Unless node lists become way more powerful than I think they're going to be. Or the problem is collision points. Which that's been the problem for basically the entirety of that project, because the math is there. The math could possibly work. How much do we need to scale this so that the bricks actually align? Do it to that. Okay, let's go and pack islands again. That seems to be okay. Oh, and I might also need to delete points that have an invalid part there. Let's go back to Geonodes. I forgot what I was going to say, but it'll come back. Let's see, let's go to maybe 30 will be right. Then we'll bump this up to like maybe 65. And no, that seems to be good. Okay, so now I just need to simply put the brick instances into there, and then the swimple, what? That's not a word. The simple swap will work. It's one thing that I always do. I just merge two of the beginning syllables into one. Should name this instances bricks. So that we can just have those close to each other with the modification word at the end. Yeah, there we go. So we have both of those. Now, if we go and play this, we can see, boom, it works quite nicely. Long time ago, I think when Geometry Nodes was in its infancy, I made an effect like that, so it's cool to see that now I have a proper way of doing it. Though it does feel like these days I'm going in circles with Geometry Nodes because it's like, oh, what effect can I do? Can we do this one? No, I've already done that. Oh, I've already done that one as well. Let's go and bring our cube over to the parts category so that we can go back to the brick instances and then instance the brick right over here, plug that into there, and actually apply the scale, which is already applied, and just scale it so that's right. Throw on a nice little bevel. I'll read the chat in a second once again. Let's do that, set to 2. Maybe I'll add in some displacement. Well, I could make that random per instance, but let's add in, you know, a couple of subdivisions here and there. Harden normals. It seems to be all right. We have that. Let's go and assign it a material. Yeah, the post-it material will be fine. We can just duplicate it. Uh-oh. What are you? Oh, right, because... Is that... No, the wrapping function should be fine. Or... No, that's because I need to delete the brick instances where they are not needed. So if, let's bring this over to here, bring you over to... So yeah, I need to go and put that into a frame, bring it over to here. That'll be fine as is. I'm going to use a capture attribute node to store that and that so that I can just have the data there. Delete the parts that are invalid, and then set the position for those that are. Go and use a delete geometry node. So if it is not valid, so I need to go and input that. If it's not valid, we plug that into there. That'll delete all the ones that are not good, and that'll be fine. There we go. Let's bring this over to here. There we go. Still a little messy, but I think it's fine. Okay. I have a question. How do you negate a value, for example, if you have a 0.5 float and multiply it and you switch it to a negative 0.5? Negate a value, that's a simple multiply by -1. If you want to invert a float value from a 0 to 1 range, you do a 1 minus. So 1 minus your value, like in this case, it would equal 0.9, which would work quite well. So you either multiply by -1 or subtract by 1. But I think in your case, you want multiply by -1. Yeah. Learning math and vector math is very useful in this industry. Yeah, there's that. The bricks do grow into place, which yeah, I'm okay with. Oh, the keyboard shortcut. Okay. With that, you just press negative, the minus symbol on your keyboard. Backspace will reset it to the default value, or will it set it to 0? I actually don't know. But yeah, that one sets it to negative, that sets it to 0. There we go. Let's go to the cube and let's go and change up the shader a little bit. Let's go and reset it. And then what hue would look really good for bricks? Do we go for kind of a old brick design like this? Looks like chocolate bars. Let's turn off subsurface scattering because bricks usually don't have that. Well, technically they do, but on such a minuscule scale that we do not need to worry about it. Yeah, that, and then what kind of bump map do we throw on it? Could do just a general noise texture, but I think we can make it a little bit fancier. Let's throw on a height. Let's see how fast this is. Okay. Oh, it's so nice having shader compilation with decent speed. So nice. Now with Vulkan. Though I will have to say in Blender 5.0, point cloud rendering seems to be broken. But I know that they're working on messing with that a little bit. Smart Cube Project. That's fine for a general brick texture, but we need to make it a little bit better. Like if we just grayscale it, fine, but I feel like we need to use a map range. Let's see. Let's go and set this to be smoother step, because that's how it should go normally. Then that kind of makes it look like muddy bricks. Reminds me of London. Even though while I was at London, at least every day besides the first day, yeah, there's still 2 instances in the same place. That is not great. Every day I was in London, it was sunny for an entire week, which I don't think is normal. I got very lucky with that. I'm just gonna make it even more. That almost works, but it feels like the scale is way too high. There we go. Yeah, maybe that, and then we set that to be a bit less. Maybe we put that to be like that. Now you just need the Lego sound, and that'll be great. I kind of think the bricks are a little bit too small. I mean, they work quite well, but maybe just a bit too small. Maybe we need to, like, scale them a bit more on that axis. That when they form, they're a little... No, but I feel like that's... We need to make the bricks look a bit better, a bit more special. I could make it so that the size auto-adapts to the brick bounding blocks, which might actually be a really good idea. Yeah, let's go and do that, actually. That is a cool little idea. Let's go to the instances bricks, just go to here. So with that, now I'm thinking I can just store, like, I can do the entire setup here in one go, and that might be a good idea. Actually, that might. I might try doing that first. Okay. So let's go and copy you, bring you down. Here we're going to have the bricks show up first, and then we're going to set the instance transform second. This might be a bad idea, but let's go and try it out. Let's go and use a combine transform node. And we're going to do this and that, but then we're going to sample the 4x4 matrix, which is the value. That'll be that and that. We plug that into there. Put this over to here. We do not need you anymore. Again, just trying to optimize things a little bit, which I don't know if this will work well, but it does simplify the process. Again, I keep swapping between 4.1 and 4.5, though I probably will be switching to 4.5 on the regular, maybe after the first bug fix update, which I haven't run into any bugs personally, but they're, you know, the devs are just fixing a couple of them here and there. So I will patiently wait. Let's go and set instance transform. Let's do that. Nope. Oh. Let's do that. Did we set it before or after? Either's fine. Let's go and do that. And then we can do that. We'll store that on the instance domain. Let's go and get rid of that item. Go, and maybe we can go and flip those two around. And then let's see what happens. Let's hope this works. Oh, let me save beforehand. There we go. So that does not seem to have worked. But why not? Instance. Oh, and that'll be, yeah, instance. There we go. There we go. It does work. Nice. Oh, quite nice. The only annoying part is that we do need the capture attribute because we want to delete the instances without changing the result. I could just flip them around to do that directly, but that would cause a recalculation, and let's make this as simple as possible. We can worry about the speed later. We'll just go and do that, and then plug that into there. There we go. Oh, oh, all that grays out. That's new. Wait, what caused that to... Huh. Interesting. Anyway, we delete the unneeded geometry first, and then we set the instance transform. So that condenses it a bit more. Same result, it just causes a, you know, this to be evaluated twice instead of once, I think. Okay, so here we were going to use the brick to determine how many rows and columns there should be. So let's go and use a bounding box node, not instance bounds, because we need just a singular constant value. And then we'll just do, let's see, we'll subtract the min from the max, and then we can go and separate x, y, z. Then maybe... Okay, this is going into dangerous territory. So I could just go and use a max, or let's go and use some integer math. So integer, or no. We'll use a minimum, which means choose the minimum of these two, or wait. Yeah, choose the minimum of these two. So these will not be able to go over 100 for either of those, which is good. We have that, so the x and y is what we're worrying about, not the z. We want that to be maybe 1 divided by, potentially. I'll need to double check this. Okay, so we have that. Let's go and make sure that the instance, okay, that is 0. Let's go and take a look and see if this adapts. Okay, it is adapting. It's just wrong. So we could just have that. And then multiply it by a bit, so if I were to just scale, just have this here so that we don't need 2 nodes where we can just use 1. So if we do that and then scale u, does this work correctly or is it working inversely? It seems like it's working correctly. Okay, then, yeah, it's x and y. Okay, that actually seems to be working as intended. Nice. I just need to make it so that this fits a bit better. that it's watertight. Oh, that's not good. X is watertight, but not the Z. Unfortunate. Or maybe I'll make it so that the minimum for both of these is 2. Well, I keep moving stuff. Yeah, let's just put this into the vector math. So let's do minimum, and we'll make this 200, just so that it's safe. Add into there, and whoop, come on, buddy. And into there. There's that. Let's go and just move this over to here. Collapse it. And that makes it nice and safe. Very cool. And for some reason, it now looks... Oh, okay, so it was... Okay, it is working. Good, good, good. Maybe a little bit. Nope. I want it to be watertight. Oh yeah, the math checks out. Or does it? I thought 0.25 would have worked because there, but... we'll just eyeball it. What's it? 0.22? No, 0.21. Or wait, I could just go and add. Instead of scale, I can just go and add to it. So here we can just add in a customizable margin. 0.01. Oh yeah, that looks good. We can set that to be like that. There we go. So just a little bit of a margin there, and that works out just fine. Good, good, good. Let's put that into a nice little frame. And now we have a brick house. So now if we hide that and then do the moving parts. Though, why don't I just have the moving parts group after the bricks? Let's just do that. That's smarter. So, or, yeah, no, let's just have that there. Then we need to enable this. Add in the geometry nodes, and let's just do moving instances. There we go. Or just fold instances by mesh. Fold instances by fold mesh. Yeah, that seems to be fine. This one is the brick instances. There we go. That makes it a bit better. Or, right, we need to input the instances into there. There we go, very nice. Now it is throwing an error, which, oh, realize data is ignored, but that just means we need to separate components. Let's just do the instances and hide everything else, call it a day. So we could make it so that it'll use the scale or ignore it, but I think in this case, using the scale is good enough. Yay, so now we can just go and move our cube and make it work well. Here, again, we just go and scale this up a ludicrous amount. Right, that's why the scale thing didn't work. Right, that makes sense. So it should be 0.25 instead. So here it's just do-do-do-do, do-do-do. Though we can see that there's some, errors right there. That's fun. But yeah, that shouldn't be too much to worry about. We set it to be very vertical. We'll see that we get a very nice stone tile look. Though I do like having tons and tons of bricks here. You can still see that the bricks are doing their thing, but all that's working quite well. Now it's time, I think, to just randomize the bricks. And I can just label this bricks. There we go. So we have all that, and we can just randomize the rotation and all that in post. Oh, F to put that there. We have all that intended. Let's go and make that a little bit bigger. Just give it a bit more space to breathe. There we go. That, and that. And then we just need to add in rotate instances. There we go. Let's throw in a random value. Or, yeah, we need to set that to be -1 and 1, and then we just scale, or vector math multiply. Let's do that, use a nice little multiply here, and all this will be as intended. So if we just go and do that, that leads to the most, yeah, but if we do that, that looks pretty cool as well. I think rotating that is the best option. 0.2 seems to be fine, even though, yeah, no, that's fine. There we go. I don't think we need to scale these any differently. I think we'll just need to randomly shift the hue or the value up or down. That'll be pretty good. Pretty good. So for the, or no, post its. Ooh, let's move this over to here. Post-its. Let me go and put it there. Is that what they're called? Post-it notes? Yeah. So if we have this, we'll see that. Yep, that's working as intended as well. Very nice. It seems to be lagging a little bit. Why are you lagging? Oh, no, that's why I separated the generation and the folding objects, so that it doesn't have to recalculate every single time. I forgot about that. Though we could just throw in a bake node after the fact. Just bake, just do that, that'll be fine. Though we don't have the bake option in the modifier panel, but that may be coming in the future, we'll have to see. But yeah, if lag becomes an issue, I just need to do that, and everything will be fine and dandy. Let's get the original brick. Let's go. I could do some more normal warping, which could look very, very good, but maybe very, very bad. So let's just wait on that for a moment. There we go. So let's go and do that. Bring this up to here. Plug that into there. Plug that into there. Set this to be 1 and 0. Take a look at the result. Yep, seems good to me. Set that to be like 0.2 and 0. Or let's do 0.05. Even lower. Okay. Could make it, it looks too rough, so let's go and bring the roughness down. Now it just looks like wet bricks. Oh, that doesn't look bad. I mean, if I had a brick road coming through and doing that as well, that could look good. Also for the roof, I should probably make the roof extend a bit more, because I could do so many things now. I could extend the roof, yeah. I could do so much. I could go and randomize the folding even more. This one right here, I could turn up the probability of the randomness. Though, oh no. Turn up the factor, not the probability. But that doesn't look as cool as I was hoping. Then the end rotation, if I set this to 0, we'll see that the house just kind of springs to life in a quite interesting fashion. I do need to make it so that starts off from just the origin face instead of several origin faces. Yeah, look at that. I mean, it kind of, the lack of folding kind of diminishes it a little bit, but it still looks really cool. It's just growing from a singular point, and then all the bricks go into there. And I really want to read as, oh, these are 3D bricks, and not just, you know, generic instances. Can I go and, what was it? Instances, let's go to translate instances. Local space, and let's throw in, here, we want that to be before. And let's have a random value with a different speed. Let's go and set both of those to 0. Both, come on. Oh, no, that's the default value. I keep forgetting. I just mentioned that, but forgetting. I can do that. Let's go and set this to be 1 and -1 again. and then just use vector math. Put that into there. Bring that down, bring this one up, and then bring that down by a lot, and set this to be like 0.1 or 0.2. Yeah, that looks a bit better. You have all that, a very, very nice looking brick floor right there. I don't know why all those are messed up. Like, odd. Let's go to the UV map and see what the issue is. I think just when it's perfectly aligned, that's an issue. Some sort of float point issue. Not fun, but not the worst thing in the world. There, we can just have the bricks do that, and that's fine. Yeah, I'd say this effect, pretty good. Pretty good. Even without the actual folding process. Here, if I wanted to make the end result 90 degrees, set the range to be 1. Oh wait, I want the scale to be like that. That is very fast. Oh wait, what was it? Range to be 1. No, wait, no, all that's working as intended. There it's just like do. Though, as you can see, it's a bit fast. Though it is quite cool to see bricks assemble themselves. But again, a bit much. Let's set it to be 45. And then we can go and make it so that it takes more time. So at least 2. That's a little bit too fast. So let's set it to be... Oh, did I originally have it at 10 or probably 40? There, the enrolling is still too fast. But I can also invert this, so that it does that, which as we can see, you know, in reverse, it's just like, oh, the house just opens its mouth. But no, let's not invert that. Just boulder, and then all that happens. But I do like it growing, because that actually works quite well. If we set that to be 0. 0 and 0. Yeah, I think that's good. I could make this like wood, planks, logs, all that, but I think stone is good. Let's go and scale up the cube by a bit more, because I think that'll help it a bit. Yeah, that's pretty good. Let's go and make the start of the animation at 0. Pretty good. You just have a house and you do whatever you want to it. And I can still make it so that it's all deformed. So I could just do whatever I want. I could do a wave. And unfortunately, oh right, I can't do that because it's using the matrices from the rolling faces. Now, I could just go and make it so that it uses the face transform for it. But for now, I'm good with just the matrix directly. And I could just hide that again. Okay. Let's see. I used your instance bounds node recently. I wanted to thank you for making it. I wondered if there was talk of integrating it into the bounding box node, or is there a value keeping them separate? No, the two will not be merged, just because the bounding box node is very different under the hood. Because it wants to output singular, it swaps the geometry sets with cubes, and outputs just a singular value for the min and max. While the instance bounds does not swap out the internal geometry, and it outputs only, it's field-based instead of singular value-based. So they're very different. They won't be merged, just because the nature of it is very different. else do I do with the bricks? We're at 45 minutes, so that is a good amount of time. Could just go and make these all metallic, which I don't like how Eevee Next just has this general glow. Like the Fresnel is not being properly accounted for. Even that doesn't fix it. It's the one thing with Eevee Next that really annoys me still. It just doesn't look... It's like they forgot to take that into account. That... Oh wait, no. The biggest thing about Eevee Next is the color banding when you go to low gray values. Here we can't see it, fortunately. But if you have like a very close to black floor, you'll see very obvious banding with any lights in the scene, which just did not exist in Eevee Legacy. I'm assuming it's just like a low range of colors or whatever. But that one is extremely annoying. And what if I just made these like gold? What would that look like? I mean, I don't really know what else I expected, but yep, that... Or no, gold is a bit more... Yeah. Oh, you know the neodymium magnet. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. Though a little bit too chaotic. I think bricks are fine. Again, a bit too glowy. That looks pretty cool. Should I just use HDRI? Just make it pop. Let's keep the scene lights as well. Maybe the studio. No, that one looks the best so far. Well, that one looks pretty cool. That one, no, that one maybe. So that one looks good. That one looks good. That one... I think that one might be the best. Can you lower the specular for a more concrete look? Well, I kind of want the wet brick look. Actually, I need to go and do this again so they don't look like stretched cubes. Again, these are just beveled cubes at the moment. I can make them just like that. Or I could really overdo the bevel and then make it look like it's made out of rounded bricks, I guess. Which that doesn't look half bad. But if I could just turn up the roughness, but I kind of like the wet look. Because that looks more like chalk. Like that. And I could just make, yeah, entire roads form like this. So if I wanted to make it so that there's more to this. Oh, but that'll cause an issue with the brick generation. Uses the UV map. The editing. Yeah, you see that? That. So fun. Though it is taking whatever's available. We would have to scale that into place. Oh, and that's why... Yeah, I forgot about that. That's why the scale had a seemingly arbitrary value. And I just do that. Oh, wait, no, not that. And I just do that, and now it'll fold all the same. Although, I thought that would work a little bit better. Maybe it's just an error on that front. I need like 2 for that to work. Oh no, that's because I copied the floor, so the vertex group was brought over as well. So here, I can do that, and then, yep, that'll happen as well. But I'm not going to keep that, because that is a very, very bad idea. So I'm just going to keep the house, but I can replace it with any other house item I want. Wait, go back to that one. So I could make this a more elaborate, almost cathedral or something like that, and it would work. It just needs to have a UV map that's good, that fits within a 0 to 1 range. And that'll be good. So, yeah. It is functional. It works. I'm happy with it. Here we go. We have that. You know, that's pretty cool. Oh, that from the inside, that looks pretty cool. Maybe I'll try, let's go and get a camera in here. Yeah, that'll be pretty cool. Seeing a house assemble from the inside. Let's set this to be very wide focal length. Although, it's cool, but not quite cool enough. Hit Control Z that. Uh-oh. Delete you and turn off. Well, yep, that's turned off. Okay, good. Yeah, I think that's pretty much done. Just need to find a few other things to make it look cool. So folded, we can go and set it to be 0. Like I could still make it so that the bricks just rely on the rest and deformed face matrices instead of having to rely on the rolling faces to do that. But on the flip side, it's just easier doing it this way, as it already uses matrices under the hood. If I just make this even more, let's set that to be 0 because I want to see. Let's make it even more. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I could just make the house actually fold if I just set the range to be high enough. T5 does that. Yeah, so if I set it low enough, it'll just be like do 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 and then do do do. So not recommended. I set it to be like 200. That almost makes it so that they all close at the same time. So that is an option, though not my preferred one. Then having it inverted basically does the same thing. And the values, oh, not necessarily. Okay, set that to be 50. 50 does that, so inverted. Yeah, so 10, what does that look like? Okay. Not the best, but not the worst. And that is just like that. Which, the motion blur, yeah, I'm okay with that. Alright. Well, I guess that'll be the stream for today. I hope you all enjoyed. Yeah, I love matrices. They're so nice. Use edge angle is on. I turn that off. Oh, that actually looks cooler. I'm worried about some disjointed parts, because the connective bit with the folded faces is missing just a tad. It does look quite cool. Use edge angle makes it so that that works. For the bricks, let's go to the brick generation. Here, I'm gonna go and turn off the offsets just to see what that's like. It looked just about as good as I thought it would. Though, this does inspire me to make this out of books. We put to like 0.01. 0.001. So we get just a slight lean. That's okay, but let's keep it as is. I think we've reached the peak of this effect. Go ahead and turn off the saturation there. We go and lower it to a reasonable value. I'm just gonna replace it with an HDRI. It'll be fine. Look a bit more real. Yeah, what other kinds of objects should I try with this? I mean, on a side note, I could just do circle packing. And that would work. Let me try that as a kind of last ditch effort for it. So instead of doing this, I'm going to just get a grid. But that's not going to be in the 0 to 1 range. Let me think about this real quick. Let's go and use just a points node. For this to be random. Make sure the Z is 0. Use the relax points. Relax points. This is from my geometry node group. So if you don't have that in default Blender, that's you know why. It's there. So let's set that to be 200. Randomize the make the radius the radius. Excusez-moi. Oh, right. That's why. I wanted that to be a random value, and then put that into there. Let's set it to be 0.1. So that's at the iteration count. Not bad, but this is why we need lists, so that bigger points don't constantly do that around smaller points. There we go, and then we just need to instance on points with the radius. Scale, make this an ico sphere, and then plug that into here. And we should see, in theory, use more. Ah. Dang it. The scale needs to come from the instance transform. Yeah, no, that's not too bad. But I'm glad I caught it. Separate transform. I just need to go and separate this, which means that they can't scale, or no. I can make it so that they scale. Just might be a little bit messed up. If I multiply the two. It might mess up just because of matrix shenanigans. Hopefully. Hopefully it'll be fine. So I just need a lot more points in the vicinity. 1,000, that's 0.01. I want to make sure all that is... Really? Let's be 50. Need more points, apparently. No, okay, we just need higher radii. Just want them to be outside their range, which I think... Oh, the range seems to be okay. Still not great. Maybe I should just use Poisson disc. That's not how you pronounce it, most likely. Yeah, let's take a look at that. Not a super serious experiment, but an experiment nonetheless. And just scale that so that it looks about right. Not too many collisions. We should see that it does fold into place, but yeah, no, that's, let me try the, disk transform geometry 0.5 distribute points and faces. Where's the disk 0.01. That change the density to be much higher. Then just set the point radius to be a lot smaller. Okay, so dang. mean, they're not overlapping, but it's still lackluster. They do overlap in some cases. So, long story short, the bricks were the way to go. Alright. So we're at 1 hour, so I will call the stream here. Thank you all for watching. I'll read the chat one last time before going and answer any questions. Yeah, that works out quite well. I just need to make the lighting a little bit better. Let me go and change the viewport color. Be a little bit lower. There we go, that's pretty good. Maybe let's go and turn on, oh, cavity is already enabled. Let's do both. There we go, that's pretty good. Because it could be a cool display of the effect for me to like show it in real time. Just, oh, okay. Just go and change it so that's from 0 to 1. So just unfold the house like that. Let's save it and read the chat. Hi, I saw your Lightwave shorts and looks like a human nerve. I really liked it. I'm trying to understand how you did it. Let's see. Oh, the nerve. Oh, that is an old one. Let's see. The Lightwave one, I believe, was using the shortest path node, and then I just changed the curves to meshes, and then have a shader where there's a gradient from the start of the curves to the ends of the curves, and then just move that gradient and make the colors look nice. So shortest path is what you need, which I'm using the shortest path node for this as well, to let the faces know which ones are their parents. Set up a kind of parent ID setup. Yeah. Alright. That'll be all for today. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one.